Hello, everyone. You are up front with Frank Rothstien. We are live on skiescrescentradio.com and on twitch.com. We will also be sharing to, well, all the good old places that we're going to. One second here. What do we got going on? I am checking out my Twitch feed, and I see my picture in the live show. I'm waiting for the video portion to kick in, but we'll see what happens here. We will see. Jade is instructing me into what to do. Sitting with me as always. Let's see. We're clicking to unmute. No, I don't see it there. Either way, Jade will take care of it. Sitting with me as always, the woman I just mentioned, with a brand new fan in her room to get nice cool breezes indoors. It is, of course, Jade Zabrick. Hello, Jade. It is, unfortunately, a sad week. If everybody, actually, we're just dealing with tech stuff here. I'm sorry. I just got a little, somewhat slightly distracted, like the fool that I am. Anyway, so let me check out one thing real good, real fast. And then we're going to hit the right buttons. Okay, there I am. I see it on I see us all on my phone, but not on my computer. But okay, I'm just still doing this. Anyway, I'm sorry. I shouldn't be all distracted. Okay, so what's going on this week is, right? Is, okay, 1 second. Oh, this is just now at this moment here. I am getting too involved in my own business. I am getting too involved in my own business, and I do apologize for that. Okay, where are we here? All right. Okay, before I get into all the stories of the week, Jade, I'm letting you know that I could see it live on my phone, but not on my computer. Okay. 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 So anyway, as I was saying, you can come find us on Twitch. You can come find us and leave comments on Twitch, on our Upfront with Frank Rothstien Facebook page. And of course, we will be sharing it to YouTube later on at the same place, Skies Crescent Radio. Also, while we're at it, go check out Jade Zabrick, both on Twitch, both on YouTube, and she posts 3 times a week all her musical muses and thoughts of the week, and that's what I can tell you. Okay, so what is going on this week in the news? Well, what we have all weekend, we had simply one person getting shot after another, one mass shooting after another, and this time, oh, the biggie is in Buffalo. The biggie is in Buffalo, and let me tell you something. Let's get into this just a little bit, all right? What's this kid's name here? Peyton Gendron, 18 years old, of Conklin, New York. This guy, as we all know, just went over to a grocery store, some grocery store. He drove hours to get to a Buffalo supermarket to open fire and kill 10. And not to mention all that are injured. Of the 13 of the 13 injured, 11 were black. This kid actually went on a race attack. He subscribed to some conspiracy theory. Yeah, I'm just trying to get this into proper wording for myself, because this is just the most ridiculous thing I can ever imagine reading. This really is. This is the most, I mean, yeah. As always, everybody who shoots up a bunch of people has a manifesto. This guy wrote 180 pages. But he went after an old conspiracy theory that tells everyone how the world is trying to suppress white authority, white supremacy. It's just the most ridiculous thing I can imagine. And I'm not even going to get into his thoughts into everything. I can't even begin to think about what's in this kid's head. But all I know is that his parents gave him a gun, right? When he was a kid, over a year ago, when he was 16. Last year, he was talking about it in school. They took, he was talking about it. And of course, he was admitted to a hospital. He was evaluated. Everyone knew who he was. Everyone knew who this kid was. He went to SUNY Broome County College. They all know who he was. And the police did nothing about it. This kid was a factory defect. It's incredible to me that this happened the other day. There was a shooting in California at a church, another mass shooting. There's just, every time you turn around, there's somebody with a gun, goes into some odd end place where no one really cares about anything except getting what they want to get done, whether they're having lunch or they're going shopping or they're buying food or they're going to pray or wherever it is they're going. There's always somebody with a gun who goes in to kill. This one here, simply researched, not by any one personal thing. Oh no, this kid went and by zip code, he targeted the population, the highest population of Black population by zip code and drove there and opened fire in the Tops supermarket. And when he was planning on, when he was done there, driving up the road and doing it again somewhere else with a vest, the Kevlar vest with his multi-rounds of ammunition. And of course, he's a kid. He can't afford all this. His parents got it. His father got it for him. And didn't take it away when he was talking about it as a kid, as a 16-year-old. And now he went out and just did it. And then there was again, church shooting, Asian. There's every time, matter of fact, let me skip all these other little articles that I'm using on the same thing. And I want to get to the one article. I got this from a website called GVA, Gun Violence Archive, right? Mass shootings in 2022. Now, the idea of a mass shooting is defined by 4 or more people. I think it's horrible. I think if you shoot 100 rounds into the ceiling, you got mass shooting going on. If nobody gets hit, that doesn't mean, if somebody's just a bad shot and shoots over everyone's head and misses all their targets, you still got a mass shooter. But okay, this is on May 15th alone. May 15th alone. Houston, Texas. That was 2 dead, 3 wounded. Amarillo, Texas, 1 dead, 4 wounded. California, that's the church, 1 dead, 5 wounded. That guy in California, the parishioners just grabbed him, tied him up with cords and duct tape, and they just hogtied him. They just got him. North Carolina, Winston-Salem, we have 0 killed, 7 shot. May 13th, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 0 dead, 17 injured. Yes, May 14th, Buffalo, as I was saying, 10 dead, 13 injured. And this is incredible. This really is, to me, incredible that this is. I'm always going to say that there's always going to be a nut with a gun. I understand. We can whine and cry, Second Amendment, all we want, but there's always going to be a nut with a gun. We got that part. Okay. So what I want to know is, and what I am not seeing anywhere, is, wait, I want to find this one little notation I made here, is where's the anger? Yes, everyone's angry. We see all the people in the news. One second, I'm trying to find myself here on Twitch. I want to see if anyone's commenting. Listen, I am live on Twitch. Please go onto the Twitch comment stream and feel free to leave me a question if you would like. Okay. I want to see the protesters come out. You got it? I want to see the protesters come out. Here it is. Here we have the whole big thing going on. I've been watching all weekend. As we all know, the Supreme Court is doing their thing again. The conservatives are coming out there again. Everything is, it's now abortion. Okay, it's coming to midterm elections. And I promise you, every time there is an election season going on, they come in for abortion. It is not nonstop, non-fail. You can't screw it up. It's always the same way. Oh, there I am on my computer. Okay. This week, and we saw plenty of rallies, plenty of picketing, plenty of marching. We saw them on bridges. I'm in New York. They're all over the Brooklyn Bridge. Everyone's marching on Washington. They're marching to every city hall. Okay. Now I'm looking at this website again. I don't know how many on this list alone I'm looking at in the last week, and I don't hear one person planning on marching or protesting. And if this doesn't fall into a Black Lives Matter protest, I don't know what does. And I got news for you. If Black lives really matter, then it shouldn't matter that only a cop kills somebody. I'm sorry to say it. I know I'm going to anger somebody because people love getting angry. Okay, there you go. I wish you would talk. Are we, before you keep going, are we hearing you on the thing? Then I can't, I won't. Good. I understand. I wasn't getting to it yet. Shade's filling me in that in Chicago. They're doing protesting. Fair enough. That's what she's telling me. You can't hear it because the way we're set up here, Zoom doesn't allow for easy microphone use, for her to broadcast with me. So that's a little bit different. Now, and she's right. We're not hearing here what's going on in Chicago as readily because news, especially if it's a conservative news outlet, they don't want to tell you that much. They want the Second Amendment. And this isn't about Second Amendment. I mean, I understand. People like to hunt. People do recreational. They want to have I understand that. But I want to see a march in every city, everywhere, every town, every city hall, marching on Washington. Go stand in front of the Supreme Court and look up every politician who voted in support for people having guns freely and easy access to them, and go march in their neighborhood right in front of their office and tell them what you're thinking, because people are dying out there. And no, I do not care what color they are. It doesn't matter if it's someone who's black in Buffalo, Asian in California, or when they shoot up a synagogue and there's a bunch of Jewish people in there with 50 or 60 people in there, or a movie theater when there's kids. I got news for you. Bullets are blind. They don't know what they're hitting. They just go where they're shot at. They go where they're told. And if they hit you in the head, that bullets don't care. So it's not a matter, it's just a matter of the availability and not even a law. I mean, everyone's afraid. We have to go march in front of the NRA office in the town near you. That I would be so happy. Pack up your little duffel bags that I see all the time for one subject or another. Make up another cute little sign. And if you want lives to matter, let's start with the most common thing we hear about, mass shootings. This is, to me, is insane. I don't even have to read the names, because next week, this kid we're talking about today in Buffalo, he'll be replaced by somebody else. I can tell you in New York City alone, in the subway system, somebody shot off 4 shots in the middle of the subway. Fortunately, nobody was shot this time. But does somebody have to be shot for anyone to care? Does somebody really have to be shot? And I know you'll never get rid of every last gun. There's always going to be some nut with a gun somewhere. We know that. Even if you legally 100% prohibited anyone from selling you a gun, someone's either going to find it somewhere, dig one up, build it on their own, or find a way to get it on the black market. We know that. There's always going to be someone with a gun. But I want to hear universal anger for the same crap we always hear. Where's the cancel culture? Let's cancel the NRA. Let's try that. Don't worry about comedians. Don't worry about television shows. Don't worry about movies from 100 years ago. Don't worry about a lot of things you see the cancel culture jumping on. Let's talk about this. People are dying for no reason, and you don't hear as much about it as you will about a lot of other subjects. And when Jay goes speaking, I can hear her talking because we're set up here for Twitch. We're doing it through Zoom. It's easier for us this way. So we don't get to hear her unless she either goes on and types in a comment on her own into the stream from her phone, maybe. But other than that, she's right. Yeah, they are protesting in Chicago. But there's more places besides Chicago. And this one happened in Buffalo, New York. It happened in Texas. It'll happen anywhere else you can think of. And I don't care what conspiracy theory this kid bought into. The conspiracy theory is not the issue. It is the mentality that everything is, in certain areas, things are permitted. Because the NRA stays silent. They stay silent at a time like this. You try to take it away come election time. Oh, yeah, they'll be talking pretty well. People who want their my Second Amendment. Oh, yeah. It doesn't apply to this. I'm sorry to see that finger, the no finger. It does not apply to this. That because you want to have a gun and you want to use it for your hunting or actually keep it just in case to protect your family, all very good reason. Protect your family. Basically, a good person has something in the house just in case. I think that's great. And I know what the Second Amendment says. It's all 3 or 4 sentences long. It does not cover this ground. I'm sorry to burst anyone's bubble. It does not cover this ground. Now, there's a lot of other amendments that were written before anything on the internet. They were written before people talk like they do today. They were written before a lot of things happened. So in a way, you just need new amendments is what it is for a lot of reasons. Well, let's face it. And let me tell you about your First Amendment. The First Amendment, freedom of speech, serves a lot of purposes. It does not give you the right to walk up to someone's face and harass them verbally and say, I have the right to do it. Oh, no, you don't. Try that in certain places. You're going to wind up to get hurt. It's just the way it is. But back to what I'm really talking about. Pack up, go create a good march. Another one, get out those big Sharpies, get out the little bit of paint, get out that cardboard, and go protest this. Because, and you hear me talking about the insanity when they start challenging, well, next week it's Roe versus Wade, but before this week, the last time in election season, there was another reason why to challenge it. And you've heard me out here before saying, ridiculous, don't challenge it. However I worded it at the time. I want to see you be able to have the option. And I don't mean because the right of abortion. I mean, I don't want to see anyone getting killed in some store because some guy with a gun was able to walk in there freely and just start shooting away. I want to see you make it home and be able to think, well, now what do I want to do with myself? I want you to live to have the option. That's what I want. All right? Because it's more common that, especially now, that's when bullets are flying. It happens more often this week than people. I don't know what's more frequent now. Guns flying or people having this personal option to make. Probably the option, probably the choice, but it's getting closer and closer as the days go on. And I really want to see this put to an end. I cannot stand every time I see mass shooting. And let's get rid of that word manifesto. This imbecile, an 18-year-old kid, I believe it was 180 pages on what he was thinking of, on his theory to protect the white race was. Do me a favor. If it means everyone throws their guns in the ocean and never do this again, I'll be happy to paint myself any color you want and get rid of it. Because this, to me, is just insanity. And it's allowed. This kid's a factory defect, and his parents should be put in jail for giving him the gun in the first place and not taking it away when he was already handled by psych evaluations, and the police knew who he was. And the police should be sued as well by everybody, by the families of everybody who lost somebody in that store. And anywhere else, if they knew about the person in advance, if they knew by prior history about the person who wound up committing this crime, they should handle that also. They should also be held accountable. I love it when I see a 16-year-old, 17-year-old, they got a gun. Guns aren't cheap, neither are the bullets, and it takes time to learn how to use it properly. They're not getting some little old-fashioned revolving six-shooter and pointing and pulling. No. They're getting things like you see in movies, like you see in military. This isn't cheap. 18-year-olds don't have that kind of money so fast. This isn't cheap. Someone's giving it to them, and they're taking time to practice, and they're planning it. So this kid was evaluated, this kid in Buffalo was evaluated a year ago. He started plotting this in January. That's what it is. He was plotting it in January. And he had a free hand to do it because the parents, now I know the FBI raided the house. They're talking to the parents, who are being very cooperative, by the way. Of course they are. It's too late. They might as well be cooperative. They can't even deny it and protect their kid. I'll never forget it. So over 20 years ago when Columbine, the two kids in Columbine shot up the school, I was talking to my mother about it, and she made a very good point to me then, which was their mother had to know something was wrong. Their mothers had to know. I said, why their mothers? She goes, well, their kids living in the house. Mothers know everything. They do the laundry. They put their clothes away. They're in their bedrooms all the time. They see what's going on. They cook their meals. They take care of them when they're sick. They know their kids. So, yeah, the parents know. A friend knows. Somebody always knows. They know you. Your friends and your family know you. And right now, that is what I want. That's my official request of the day. Everybody who protests, whether you think it's because a cop did the wrong thing, or you think it's a comedian did the wrong thing, or you think it's, I mean, and Jade's right. The news does not get the coverage it should on this, especially when it comes to guns. But we're still hearing about Will Smith. The guy's worth about $400 million collecting interest every day. I don't care about Will Smith. It was a catchy story for a week. We're still hearing about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Who cares? It's a couple having a lawsuit over crack. That's just what it is. And before he says he can't get work, Johnny Depp is getting work again. Maybe it's because of this. Maybe he was getting it anyway. But okay. Let's get priorities right. Priorities in order, people. That's all I got to think. So, yeah, everybody. I mean, it's an old cliche of call your congressman, call your city council. Everybody protest at your local city hall. Everybody make your voice heard. This is not, I could say it's not acceptable. It's not going to happen again, but we know it's going to happen again. And unfortunately, it is going to happen again. But let yourselves be heard, and not just in Chicago. Now that I've ranted my brains out for a while, what else is on my mind? Which is plenty, I got to say. Yes, plenty, I got to say. Let me clear up this board for a second, because I posted up this story. I don't know how many different ways, just so I should have, have the subject that I wanted to talk about. Oh man. Sometimes, yes, even sometimes I do get rattled by events in the news. I don't like it. I get a little ranty, which is you hearing me now. But yes, and if you're angry at me for saying this, feel free to contact me. Feel free to cancel me. Feel free to come talk to me about it and tell me why I'm saying anything I'm saying here is wrong. Tell me why it's wrong. upfrontfrank@gmail.com. All are welcome. Let's see. Is anyone leaving that? You're welcome to leave a message here on Twitch also. And there is the little message box for my account. Come tell me what's going on. I just had a haircut this week. I was looking a little flat in this weather. Oh, what can you do, right? What can you do? Yeah, the New York City subways, the list of people who were shot. I'm telling you, I'm all over the place. Let's lighten the mood a little bit and see what else we could talk about right now. Let's see what really could make us angry. Well, if people getting killed doesn't do it, what else have we got? Okay, I got this from the 14th of May. This comes out of Kiel, Wisconsin. And the school district there has charged kids for using wrong pronouns. Now we're getting to something really important. Okay, then. A Wisconsin school district has filed sexual harassment complaints against 3 middle schoolers for calling classmates by a wrong pronoun. So middle school is what, 13, 14? Okay, great. The school district in Kiel a city of 3,600 residents, has charged 3 eighth graders at the Keelan Middle School with sexual harassment after an incident in April in which students refused to use they to refer to a classmate who had switched pronouns a month before the alleged incident. Okay. I received phone calls from the principal forewarning me and letting me know that I was going to be receiving an email with sexual harassment allegations against my son. That's according to Rosemary Rabideau, whose 13-year-old son, Braden, is one of the students charged with sexual harassment. She says she went into shock as she told it to Fox 11. Okay, I'm thinking sexual harassment. According to the mother, what does this mean? Rape, inappropriate touching. Okay, you never know, right? You're thinking about what sexual harassment. This is a 13-year-old, a kid. The Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty is defending the accused students and claims that misuse of pronouns is not covered by Title IX of the U.S. Education Department statute and that protects people from discrimination. Okay. Once again, let's get to the ridiculousness of the subject. Good luck explaining to a junior high school kid, a middle school kid, about Title IX. You can explain it to them, but like a lot of kids, good luck getting them to follow. Well, kids are tough in school. I was in school, kids were tough on me. I was heavy, I was this, I was that. I got beaten up by the bigger kid, for one reason or another. I don't know if you can get a little kid in school to accept using they and them. Maybe some, but not all. It's a long shot to say all. So anyway, legal charges against the middle school kid who in 30 years may not remember this incident at all, depending on, depending on the person. And I don't know. I know there's going to be a lawsuit somewhere. There's always a lawsuit. Let's face it. It's just the way it is, using more pronouns. But I still go with the grammar, and I contact the grammar police, the grammar police, who agrees with me that when using the term they or them as one person describing themselves, it's a singular designation, it's a singular, you're looking for singular reference with a plural word. That in itself to me is just, so anyway, I go with hey you. Hey you, what do you want? So yeah, that's also very important. Got to have a little bit of that. Oh man, it's 1/2 the hour. Look at me go here. Damn, I need a drink. I need some Jack Daniels. That works. I love whiskey. Doesn't matter which whiskey. I have my favorites, but I can use a drink. Jay, do you want a drink? Was that somebody in the background wondering what I was ranting about, hearing me from the other room? Okay, just checking. Okay. Jade is drinking a Coca-Cola. I miss Coca-Cola. I really do. I became diabetic about 23 years ago. At least I found out 23 years ago. And I gave up Coca-Cola immediately. I mean, well, up until the point I got used to my medication, because when you're not used to it, you can get sugar lows. You can really get sugar drops. It's very fast. So I always had a can of that with some fruit, something around with sugar. Soda's easy. You pop it, you drink it, you're done. One day, while driving the company van, we were bringing something to a storage house, me and another guy. I was still carrying chocolate with me, and we're driving, and I could feel it. Now, when I get a sugar low, I feel like my chest quivering and my hands become very fidgety. So there I am driving Midtown Manhattan with traffic, and I'm feeling this. I ripped open 2 Hershey bars. So you know how big a Hershey bar is, right? It's not that big, but okay. Each bar, 2 bites. One half bite, took one half of the bar, the other bite, the second half. The 2 Hershey bars. And because it hadn't kicked in yet when I finally parked the truck, I went to a soda machine and grabbed 2 cans of Coca-Cola. Well, now I had a sugar high. But eventually I leveled out. So yes, until you get used to your medication, even when, especially if you're on insulin dependent, always carry something sweet with you. Fruit, cookie, something that doesn't go bad, just in case. Okay, what else is going on? Speaking of just in case, when I go, well, of course, it's what you can see that counts, that sends you. Sometimes you can't see what's going on in the kitchen. This came out in yesterday's news. It says Arby's manager caught urinating in the milkshake mix. An Arby's manager allegedly urinated in the milkshake mix at the fast food eatery for his own sexual gratification on at least 2 occasions. Stephen Sharp, who is being investigated for child pornography, admitted to police that he enjoyed relieving himself in the restaurant's milkshake mix while working as a night manager at a Vancouver, Washington location. The Arby's manager was arrested by Vancouver police and confessed to downloading and distributing child pornography and having a sexual interest in children on May 10th. That's when they talked. All righty then. Well, they're looking for unlucky customers who bought and drank the urine-contaminated shakes. Well, good luck with that, because the odds are you won't know who it is, because unless you knew who the manager was that day, or maybe you just don't know, depending on how the milkshake's mixed, you may not have been able to taste it. So yes, I hate to say it, but yeah. So anyway, okay, this guy's being, I'm wondering if Arby's knew he was being investigated. Look at the way I'm holding my head here. I can't believe what I'm reading. If he was being investigated for child pornography while he was a manager in a fast food place where kids go. I mean, kids like fast food. Good news is he was working on the night shift. Not many kids are open, at least not little kids in the night shift, but yeah, you get kids in the night, yeah, teenagers, whatever. So I'm not sure how many levels of wrong I'm reading here. Then again, this guy will have a gun next and go back and shoot up Arby's, not letting him pee in the milkshake. I'm telling you, why do you think aliens don't come to visit us? Listen to what I'm describing here, people. You think anyone wants to kidnap us to their planet? We're fucked up. We're a screwed up population. One reason or another, we are a screwed up population. That's the only way I can think about it. We are just that kind of screwed up. Because how else can I describe it? We're just nuts. I mean, we really are. What else is going on? Oh, that's right. As I was saying before, we're coming up to the midterm elections. And how do I know that? Because this is when all the conservative lawmakers come out to really stir things up, screw up the people. It says, in an unprecedented move, this came out of NBC News on May 12th. In an unprecedented move, Louisiana lawmakers revive anti-LGBTQ school bill. They didn't do it, I'm not reading about it 6 months ago, but we're coming up on vote time. Got to start doing it now. Got to start voting on it now. They voted 55 to 39 to resurrect the measure. I like that, resurrect. You know why? Because it was dead. They're bringing back the dead in terms of laws. And this is what's going on. This is the time. It's election time. Go after gay, go after abortion. This is it. Go after anybody. Yeah, that's right. This was, they're reminding us in Florida, this was called the Don't Say Gay bill. But yes, it will take effect on July 1st. Yeah, here we go. This is how you know it is election time. I promise you, every time you pay attention, because not many people really think about this. Midterm elections are coming up. The Republicans are looking to make a big move in the government because they want control back of Congress. Fair enough. Okay, they want control back. Okay. Presidential elections in 2 years, they're going to want that back. You're going to hear all these same type of stories in a year and a half, because whoever they're going to be running against, President Biden, should he decide to run, given his age, you never know. You never know. He may not run. So they'll be grooming somebody to replace him. Maybe it'll be the vice president. Maybe it'll be someone else. They'll be picking and choosing who their candidate will be. But you're going to hear all these same conversations again when it's time for presidential season to open up. Nothing new about it. Nothing. Zero. Should we get back to some of the more ridiculous things I can talk about in the world? Man, should we get back to some more imbecilic things? I love that word, imbecile. It's inaccurate, but it sounds good when you say it. Okay, let's see what's actually. This is a serious story. If you not in terms of what I'm describing with everything else I'm talking about. This is a New York City story. You know, the e-bikes, the electric bikes with the batteries on them. This is a story about how they're a menace in New York City and should be banned. Why do I agree? Okay, think about if you're living in a city, think about all the times you're looking across the street or you're walking on a sidewalk and there's an e-bike coming in the wrong direction and they're speeding like crazy. Speeding like crazy. You know, e-bikes, they may not go as fast as a car does. When you're talking about a city block, they often go faster than a car would. And, you know, no one who drives these things, if you have a motorcycle, you need a driver's license saying you're trained to drive a motorcycle. It makes sense. You're on the road. You also require a license plate and insurance and registration. Makes sense. You have a vehicle. Not motorized bikes. You know why? Of course, there's no law making them a vehicle, legal vehicle. I mean, if I can find a place to keep on charging, yeah, I could ride across the country if I knew where to charge it. But okay, you get the idea. And every time I turn around, you see food delivery guys, people on their city bike, their electric rent-a-bike that they're on the sidewalks with because they don't want to battle traffic. They're going the wrong way in the streets, flying around the corners when they're on, even skateboards with the battery motor on it, and they're going pretty fast, and they're flying around the corner going against traffic. And me, I'm pretty big in terms of, I had a good size about me. I stand in the middle of the sidewalk. Come hit me. And I say stop every time. But because why? Well, because I'm just, But I promise you, if any of these guys hit you, anybody on these bicycles, okay, man, anyway, especially if they're working because they're going to lose their job, if people who hit you, I am expecting would right away leaving you where you lay. Because there's no accountability if you're not liable for anything. There's no plate. There's no way to tag it. All these restaurants that have their own delivery staff, they're not going back to the restaurant. They're going in a different direction for a while to buying themselves time. City bike? Well, you could sue the city for the city bike, but I guess you can find who the rider was based on the time they hit you. But again, the riders, they're all over the sidewalks. They're here, they're there, they're everywhere. Bike lanes, yeah, well, they're not bicycle. Bicycling. You're on a bike, you're pedaling, moving. That's a bicycle. This is on battery. You're not pedaling anything. But they're in the bike lanes. They're flying across intersections. They don't have to wait for red lights if they think they can get away with it. And that is why I agree that e-bikes should be banned. Unless they are treated like any other automobile, any other vehicle, legalized, recognized vehicle. You must have a plate, you must have a registration, you must have insurance and a license. That way, somebody is responsible because people can get hurt and it's just not necessary. I'm reading here, those bikes can go 25 miles an hour. I didn't know that. I never clocked them. But yeah, that's just what it is. So when you're walking, when you see someone coming down the block Clear a path because the riders don't give a crap about you. Be careful. What else is going on here? Let's see. Speaking of lawsuits, this is from May 14th. It says an Indian couple is suing their son and his wife for demanding grandchildren. That's what it says from New Delhi. A retired Indian couple is suing their son and daughter-in-law, demanding they produce a grandchild within the year or pay them 50 million rupees, which is about $675,000. Sanjeev Ranjan Prasad, 61-year-old retired government officer, said it was an emotional and sensitive issue for him and his wife, Sadhana Prasad, and they cannot wait any longer. His son, a pilot, is married for 6 years, or was married 6 years ago, excuse me. We want a grandson or a granddaughter within a year or compensation because I spent my life's earnings on my son's education. He says he spent 3 million rupees, $47,300 American, on his son's pilot training in the United States. The main issue is at what age we need a grandchild. But these people, son and granddaughter, that's how he put it, have an attitude. They don't think about this. We got him married in the hope he would have we have the pleasure of becoming grandparents. Can you believe this? They're going to court. The court accepted their petition as scheduled for a hearing on Monday, which I guess is today. Yeah, in Ottawa City. And that's a northern, I got to pronounce this, Uttarakhand state, okay, whatever Uttarakhand state means. I don't know what that means. Okay. The son and daughter-in-law could not be reached for comment. The parents say they love children. Okay. They're suing their kid for a kid. I'm telling you, I am not creating this. I am not creating this. You can find this on NBC News and a few other places. This is, I love this stuff. It's the ridiculous stuff of the world. So you spent your money, which no one told you to spend your money on your kid's education. You were fortunate enough to be able to afford it. Your son is a pilot and married. Your son's successful. I'm sure your son had a great education. But because they haven't had a kid, you want it all back. Well, why don't you just say you want the money back anyway? Just say you want the money back. It says, I can't believe this has to do with the kid because you're still out $675,000 or 50 million rupees. Rupees, excuse me, rupees. Yeah. Yeah. Gotta love this stuff. Gotta love this stuff. Okay. We also have the first living robots that can now reproduce. I was talking about this a while ago. It was already in the making. It says the world's first living robots, known as Xenobots, can now reproduce. Details about the robots created using the heart and skin stem cells of the African clawed frog were unveiled last year after experiments showed they could move and self-heal. Okay, now the scientists at Tufts University, University of Vermont, and Harvard, who made the Xenobots, say the tiny blobs can now self-replicate. The results are new research. The results of the new research were published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences on Monday. Experiments showed that the organisms can swim out of their dish, find another single cell, and assemble baby Xenobots. Robots that can reproduce. That's sort of out of Star Trek. When that comes actually out of the Borg, which is called Well, they're Borg. They're Borg. That's what it is. That's what Borg are. That's what the Borg in Star Trek are. Basically, giant robots that adapt, that actually assimilate humans, and they take on the flesh. But really, it's a hybrid of flesh, tissue, and mechanical devices. What you're describing here in terms of Star Trek will be called a nanoprobe. So yeah, this is a good first step. Okay, can't imagine what this will lead to. Who knows how long? Looking at a picture of it, looks like a Pac-Man eating one of those little dots. Waka waka waka. That's what it looks like, a pink Pac-Man, the big bright green dot. Well, all righty then. If we knew how to tell the collections of cells what to do and what we wanted them to do, ultimately that's regenerative medicine. That's the solution to traumatic injury, birth defects, cancer, and aging. So pretty much, but if you pretty much, yeah, nanoprobes. You inject it inside the people, and supposedly it takes care of the problem. Or you turn them into what was in Star Trek known as Borg. Okay, there you go. Somehow, to me, that sounds scary. Let's sort of interfere with the natural way that life works. Not that I want to see people get sick and die. Not that I want to see anyone injured. Not that I want to see anything bad happen to anyone. But somehow sending a robot out to do the job, I don't know about that. Yeah, it's coming up on that time. Just to let everybody know, there's been a couple of financial. Let's see. The Rock, the largest white diamond ever auctioned, falls short of expectations. It turns out the largest white diamond to ever come up for auction has been sold for 21.9 million American at Christie's in Geneva. 228.31 carat pear-shaped gemstone, dubbed the Rock, originated in South Africa, where the largest diamonds in the world have been found. Well, I don't know what they were expecting to get, but they did pretty well. They did pretty well. So that's what's going on in terms of jewelry. What is going on here? Oh, before I forget, okay, the Kentucky Derby one, we paid Rich Strike, we paid 80 to 1 last week. Will not be running in the Preakness Stakes, the second leg of the Triple Crown. Won the Kentucky Derby, but will not be running in the Preakness, probably because they want to keep their horse fresh for the Kentucky Derby in a few weeks, which is the 1.5 mile run for horses, 1.5 miles, which is very difficult, and they want the Kentucky Derby. So, okay, there will be no Triple Crown horse this year. That's what's going on there. In terms of medical, if you're a fan of the Barbie doll, Barbie is now including, I'm not going to use that word including, although including does count in this case. I think it's a good thing. Barbie unveils its first ever doll with hearing aids. Yeah, Barbie is 63 years old. I never really pay attention. Barbie, yeah. If you have an original Barbie in mint condition in the box, it's worth a fortune, by the way. But anyway, I'm looking at a picture of Barbie. This Barbie has, I don't know, is that brown or reddish hair? Whatever. And she's wearing a big hearing aid with a big, like the actual device. The plug is clear. The actual device is around her ear. It's pink. Well, it's a pretty, and I know you can get hearing aids now that are very small, they put in the ear. But for kids, little kids, they need to understand very fast that someone has the same problems they do, that they're not alone. So Barbie has a hearing aid. And that's pretty cool. That's pretty good. I mean, I'm an adult. I can understand a lot of things, but I've often said when I want to go clothes shopping or I see a catalog, there's nobody who ever looked like me in a catalog, very few and far between. So when I see a kid, little child, or however years old you are, when it goes from when you get your first Barbie doll, whether you're 6 or 8 or 5, whatever it is, that there's a doll that looks like you that you can understand, Barbie, why not? I think that's great. It's a doll. Okay, so Barbie has a hearing. I don't know what it costs, but Barbie has a hearing aid. Andy Warhol's painting of Marilyn Monroe sold for $195 million, by the way. That painting's been holding up through time, just like its Campbell soup painting. But Marilyn is still Marilyn. She'll always have status and went for a hell of a lot of money. Okay, if you remember last week, I was talking about the 6-year-old who ran the marathon. A 6-year-old who ran a 26.2 mile marathon. Well, Child Protective Services visited the family. This story came out on May 11th, so it's between when we spoke last. It's a Kentucky kid who ran in the Cincinnati Marathon, was visited by Child Protective Services last week. Cammy and Ben Crawford, whose son Rainer, ran a Flying Pig Marathon in Cincinnati with his entire family, and he was struggling. He's 6, Anyway, they need to pay a visit, so they did. And it says the Crawfords wrote, "This needs to stop," in a caption to their Instagram, where children are having emotional breakdowns, not from running, but from a mob that has been weaponized by running's most accomplished and celebrated individuals. I want to know what kind of, keep running this kid in marathons, because it's not the first one the kid ran. This kid's been running for a while. Not all physical exercise is made for children to participate in. I wouldn't want to put a 6-year-old into weight training. It's just not good. Their bodies aren't made for it. So anyway, CPS checked on them. What can you do, right? Okay. Yeah, we're almost done. Coming up on 5 minutes. Then we're going to go raid somebody and see who we could talk to and harass. I mean what I say, especially earlier in the show. The problem I'm describing is not localized to one city or town. It's everywhere. And when I see some of the reasons that people march and protest, scream about, and they're walking around with their little signs up, that's great. Write a sign for this. And if you see an NRA or city hall in a town near you, no matter how big or small it is, go let them know what you think. Because tomorrow, someone you care about may be in a grocery store or in a shopping mall or in a restaurant or in a parking lot, in a park, on a beach, in a church, in the synagogue, anywhere else common that everybody normally goes to, not preparing to have to pack a gun to shoot it out with somebody. Schools, that's a good one. That's always been a goodie. If you like to protest and march, this is a good topic for you. Okay, with that, I'm going to say goodnight to everybody. By next week, I'll be having some new things to talk about. And that will be the story for today. You heard it here. Everyone, have a good night. I will see you next week. Be good. I'll see you. Good night.